Hey everyone, I'm back. And I know it's a small audience, but still. It's been a month of hiatus about. It's not really been for any certain, special reasons. I'm just not really having the easiest time getting to it all the time. Also, my Xbox broke. That impacts it a little bit too. That's the main thing I was actually playing anything on. Trying my best to get a computer, but I'm still struggling with that. I'm also trying to get used to attempting to record on my Switch. Still not going great, but doesn't matter. Well, this is definitely it's definitely going to get a lot better for recording reasons, though there's a very few amount of you. I appreciate you. And yeah, thanks. This is my thoughts on Minecraft. Alright, so my thoughts on Minecraft. During my childhood, Minecraft was actually a really big deal. I'm one of those earlier 2000s kids, so it was actually fairly important for all those who are a little younger, but it was a very heavily impacting game, for us at least. We played it almost nonstop. If you ask somebody, it was always like the game that was a go-to for everybody, because almost everybody could play with each other, unless you were not cross-platform compatible, which some people weren't, but usually you had friends who had that certain device that you were all playing on at the same time. But during this time, you gotta remember, it was before Bedrock, so there was no huge lag spikes. If you wanted to play with a friend that was on a console, they had a console too. If you wanted to play with a person that was on a PC, they had a PC too. It wasn't like Bedrock is now, where basically, like, if you try and join, you're kind of just constantly lagging. But if you play on your own, you're alright to a degree, but still. But other than that, Minecraft was a big deal, mostly because it was an easy game. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was an easy game, but it was a game you could get really invested in. You could easily go ahead and just hop onto Minecraft all on your own, which I used to do for hours on end. And that was even before real things were out that were actually fun, mini games, because I was a console player. Been a console player all the way through, so it's just been weird, because it's so weird to have the normal mini games that most people had, where I used to have very limited amounts, which you'll be able to see later in the video, but whatever. But basically, Minecraft, I always thought of Minecraft as more easy than a game that was super hard, though as the years have gone on, it's getting harder, which is cool and fun. But it's not how I grew up with Minecraft. Minecraft was a game. It was based off of almost all creativity. If you were creative enough, you could play and you could win, technically. But winning wasn't really the key. Back then, you could go ahead and do what you wanted. Well, now, speedrunning has become a lot bigger. Because when I was a kid, it wasn't super big, but it was still... it was there. It was there. It existed. But back in my Minecraft, it was pretty cool. I did get some footage of I had self-play footage of it actually, which was nice. But Minecraft was a really fun game for that to be able to do that. You could actually just kind of even the menus were different, how in the Bedrock version now, they highly intensify the menu to make it look because you got Mineplex stuff that you can buy now. Well, before we didn't really have that. You had all the stuff you could do. I just hopped into a tutorial just to replay through it, and I was I was having such crazy so many crazy memories just popping back into my head, being able to not do anything until you've completed the full tutorial of the game. And it was crazy because it always spawned you in one spot, while like in usual, because that was a weird thing for console mostly, where like if you were playing on PC, you kind of just got chucked into a world and it let you do what you were gonna do. While on like Xbox and stuff, all the console ones basically chucked you into a optional tutorial world, where you got like two starting things, which was the map and the piece of steak, and then it wouldn't let you leave until you've completed the full tutorial, as you can see. But it was still like, it was cool because it like basically gave you everything you needed, all the tools you would need to get there. Look, I'm not saying that it worked every time, but it was still pretty cool. The other thing that was much cooler than that part was actually the PvP and other like multiplayer game access type of objects, where literally back in the day this was like a really big deal for console players. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, if you asked like a really hardcore console player that played this like constantly when they were younger, you're gonna get like a lot of good responses. Like, it was just fun. Like, even if you were alone, there was like tons of puzzles to figure out. And like back then, it wasn't a big thing to like totally spoil all puzzles. Like, you would just hop into a room full of people with like, whether or not you wanted to have like, and then that's also where it came in, like you would go ahead and team up with people in like PvP and just like fight it out, and it was always crazy. And then like there after some time, because it was only PvP and gliding, I think, at first. After PvP and gliding, there came Spleef, but that was like later, and that was like a last charge to try and revamp basically the entirety of multiplayer on Xbox, because it was an Xbox. It was basically platform exclusive, so it was like there was Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS4, and then I think there was PS3, and it was those four exclusives, and they only like were able to get online with each other and couldn't go through. I don't know about that for Xbox 360 to Xbox One and PS3 to PS4. I didn't play on the PS3 or PS4, so I can't speak for them, but it was still very cool because you could always find the coolest puzzles to try and solve. And the other thing was like, you would learn puzzles from people, but like that was like it. Like, no one was gonna like purposefully like spoil it for you unless you like seriously asked them to, or seriously ask them if they could tell you, because it was just not necessary. And it just gave you something to do in your pastime, where basically like I am now, where basically there's nobody playing on the servers anymore at this point. Like, it's almost non-existent, but you could actually get a player if you wanted to, but you just have to sit in the room for a little bit. There'd be like one person or like two people that were online, and they'd be like, ooh, a room, and they'd just hop in. So I had to put it on private just in case of that, because I just wanted to get the puzzles in, because it's an easier thing to just watch. But basically, like, this was like everything, and this was the older like lobby area, and like there was a whole weird backstory where like it caved in and was like built on top of like where there was like a huge lobby area instead of the lower lobby area that was like smaller and like more concise and like easier puzzles and all this stuff. And like all of a sudden you were brought into this humongous lobby area where like there was like tons of puzzles for you to potentially figure out and tons of things for you to do, instead of it being in that smaller one where you kind of had like some stuff to do, but it was like more like you hung out and chilled with people just because you could. But like back then it was so much easier to just like get trapped, and like I wasted hours in this game. Like, I wasted like hours of just playing PvP and just like seeing how good I could get. I got good. I did get good, but that wasn't really the biggest deal about it, in my honest. But like it was just easier for you to like think about stuff. Like you would just puzzle solve constantly. Like I would sometimes go into the lobby and just like click on private lobby like I am now, but just like go and solve as many of the puzzles as I could, just because I was fascinated by them. Like because they actually put time into them. They weren't like a throw them around and like we'll see, maybe you'll find them, I don't really care. Like it was like there was actual thought put into them, which was also what made it fun. Like you could find secret rooms, secret biomes, which was always like crazy, and was a crazy thought to like think that like there was somebody that built this. Like they built this directly and they thought about it to a degree. Like I don't know if they thought about it like at an epic manner, but like still it's crazy that you could build these kinds of structures in Minecraft, which like now considering it now, like it was like a big deal for somebody to build a structure that was like huge like this in like console, but like in PC it was like no sweat. Like people would like sweat this out. Like they would sweat like I know there was like one person who did a whole like Hogwarts like redone thing where they basically like recreated Hogwarts, and like there's people who have like recreated lots of stuff, which is super cool. But like this back in when I was playing, like this was a really big deal because of how big it was. Like it was a crazy thing for anybody to build like something that was so absolutely crazy, because all the console players for Xbox, we were children. I'm not gonna lie to you, we were all like children, most of us at least. Like it was not like there was not like no people that were not like kids. There were a few that weren't, but like it was like not super selective, because back then it was like PS3 and 4 were like for like older kids, or like kids that were like above our age, or like it depended on who your parents were, but like however they did it, your parents basically dictated like, yeah, you're not gonna play PS4, PS3, sorry, not 5, because you're not old enough for it, or something of the rather. But like when that happened, it was a lot of like, I wonder what I can play, and like a lot of kids would like convince each other like, why don't you we can play Minecraft, let's play Minecraft. And like I didn't even know about Minecraft till I was like 7. I got the game because like one of my neighbors like had the game and had like a birthday party themed around it, and I wanted to learn more about it, so I just like said, hey, can I get this game? And back then it was like really cheap. It was like only like $10 for a copy of it, because it was 360, so it was like all like lower stuff. But basically like I asked for it, and like my mom and dad were like, sure, doesn't seem bad. And I'm not even kidding you, I played it with my sister first time through, and I went into the tutorial and had no clue what to do because I pressed B by accident on both of our tutorials so we can move. I was fighting things with a stick, thinking it was doing damage. It wasn't. It was doing the same damage as punching it. I know that now. It's alright. I recovered. It's fine. But still, it's just funny that was a thing that I did the first time around, instead of like thinking about like how I could have done it again. Always fascinates me, because like back then I actually had the old tutorial world where it was like you got the starter area, and then like you walk out and it's like just the ocean, and then like a farm. It's like a really big house. That's like the only way I could explain it. But basically, like, short and short,